Hey all, welcome to my channel Tale Bearing Time. Today in this video, I want to simply tell the tale of William Shakespeare's As You Like It, continuity of part 3, and it is the last part of the story. Let's get into the story. In part 3 last scene, Orlando asked Oliver to go and tell Ganymede about the accident. Oliver went to Ganymede and Aliana and told them how Orlando had saved his life. When he finished the story, he admitted to them that he was Orlando's brother and that he was feeling very sad because he had treated Orlando so cruelly. Yet, Orlando had forgiven him for everything. Oliver's true feeling of shame and regret for his bad behavior impressed Aliana so much that she had once fell in love with him. When Oliver saw how deeply Ariana was moved by hearing about his sorrow, he too suddenly fell in love with her. But just then, Ganymede, upon hearing what had happened to Orlando, fainted. When he recovered, he did not want Oliver to know that he had really fainted, so he pretended that his fainting was just an act of the imaginary Rosalind. He said to Oliver, "Tell your brother how well I pretended to faint." But Oliver would see that Ganymede had really fainted and was very surprised. He said to Ganymede, "Well, if you were really acting, then be brave and try to act like a man." Ganymede replied, "Yes, I do try, but actually I should have been a woman." Oliver then sat talking with Ganymede and Aliana, and this visit became a long one. At last, he returned to his poor wounded brother and gave him all the news. He told him how Ganymede had fainted on hearing about Orlando's condition. He also told him that he had fallen in love with the beautiful shepherdess Aliana and that she too seemed to like him. As he was saying all this, Oliver decided that he would marry Aliana, whom he loved so much, and would live here as a shepherd and give up his estate and house to Orlando. He told Orlando of his plan and asked him for his opinion. Orlando agreed to the plan for his brother's marriage and said, "Let your wedding be tomorrow. I will invite the Duke and his friends. Now you go and convince your shepherdess to agree to this. She must be alone now, since her brother has come here." Ganymede had come to see Orlando and to ask about his health. Oliver left immediately to meet Aliana and to tell her of his plans and ask her to marry him. Orlando told Ganymede that Oliver and Aliana had quite suddenly fallen in love, and then he had thus advised his brother to marry the shepherdess the next day. He added that he too wished to be married to Rosalind at the same time, but unfortunately, it would not be possible. Ganymede thought that this was a good idea. He told Orlando that if he really loved Rosalind as much as he planned to, then he would be able to marry her the next day. He promised that he would arrange to make Rosalind appear there the next day, and that she too would be willing to marry Orlando. Orlando did not believe Ganymede and the promise seemed impossible to him, but Ganymede assured him that he would do it. "I will perform a magic trick and bring Rosalind to you. My uncle, a great magician, taught me to do this," he explained. Orlando was so excited that he could not believe that Ganymede meant what he said. "Seriously, I promise I do," answered Ganymede. "So put on your best clothes and request the Duke and your friends to come to your wedding. If you wish to marry Rosalind tomorrow, she shall be there." Meanwhile, Aliana had agreed to marry Oliver, so the next day they both went along with Orlando to see the Duke. All were assembled to celebrate the marriage of the two brothers, yet only one bride appeared, and everyone was puzzled. They all thought that Ganymede had been making fun of Orlando. Orlando too was very sad that Ganymede had only made fun of him. And the Duke heard that his own daughter was to be married. He was very surprised. "Do you really believe the shepherd boy?" he asked Orlando. "I do not know, my lord. He seems to be telling the truth to me," replied poor Orlando. Just then, Ganymede entered and asked the Duke, "Would you allow your daughter to marry this young Orlando if she were brought here now, sir?" "Yes, I would," replied the Duke. I only wish that I had many kingdoms to give her. Ganymede then said to Orlando, and you say you will marry her if I bring her here. Yes, I will, said Orlando. I only wish that I were the king of many kingdoms. Ganymede and Aliana went out together. Ganymede quickly changed into women's clothes and became Rosalind again. Aliana too threw off her country clothes, wore her own rich clothes, and once again became Lady Celia. While they were away, the Duke said to Orlando that Ganymede looks very much like his daughter Rosalind. Orlando too agreed that they were alike in many ways. I wonder how there is so much similarity between them, said the Duke. They had no more time to wonder how all this would end. Just then, Rosalind and Celia entered in their own clothes. Rosalind went to her father and, going down on her knees before him, begged for his blessings. All this really seems like magic to everyone present, and all were amazed. Rosalind did not want to joke anymore and decided to reveal the true story. She told her father how they had run away from the palace and come to the forest. The Duke happily agreed to the marriage, and Orlando and Rosalind, Oliver and Celia were married at the same time. Though their wedding could not be celebrated grandly in the wild forest, it was a very happy wedding. While they were all eating under the tree, a messenger suddenly arrived there. He had been sent by the Duke Frederick. He had come to inform the old Duke that the dukedom had been given back to him. He also told to the old Duke what had actually happened. The Duke's evil brother had become very angry when his daughter Celia ran away from him. Also, he saw that each day many of the Duke's followers were going away to the forest of Odin to serve the old Duke there. He had become furious and jealous of his brother. Deciding to catch and imprison his elder brother, he marched into the forest with many of his men. But a very strange things happened as he entered the forest. He met an old hermit there who spoke to him for a very long time. This hermit preached to him and magically changed him from an evil person into a good man. From then on, this evil man changed completely and started to repent of all his harmful deeds. He decided to give up the dukedom and all his riches and to stay in the religious house forever. So he at once sent a messenger to his brother, the Duke, and returned his dukedom to him. He also promised to return all the lands belonging to the old Duke's friends. This good news was surely unexpected, but it came at just the right time to make the occasion an even happier one. Celia was very happy for her cousin and her uncle. Rosalind was now the heir of the dukedom, and Celia was very glad that now everything belongs to the rightful person. The two cousins loved one another so dearly and sincerely that Celia was not all jealous of her cousin. Instead, she wished Rosalind joy very seriously. The Duke now had a chance to reward all his true and loyal friends who had stayed with him in the forest for so long. All the followers were also very glad to return to the feast and prosperity they deserved. Thus, in the end, all were happily reunited and they all lived happily in the beautiful palace of the old Duke. Happy ending. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share.